Hey, it's Coach B. Wiley. I hope you're ready for class. It is like 6:20. It is December 1st. So every December, what I've been doing is a thing called Vlogmas. So if you're watching this, actually I'm doing this live on TikTok as we speak. However, I'm going to upload it to YouTube. So every day in the month of December, I will be recording a video about dating and communicating. It will be as short as a minute and it will be as long as up to 30 minutes. Today it'll probably be like 10 or 15 minutes. So how are you guys doing today? I went into my messaging on TikTok because I put in my stories that I will be taking requests, like how I do. If you don't know, I do a thing called Ask B. Wiley where anyone can ask me a quick question and I can address it in a video. And then if you need more definitive answers for your dating and communicating situation, then you can go ahead and book me at mymentor.life. That link is everywhere on TikTok, on YouTube, if you want to book me as your life coach. But a young lady reached out to me, and I'm going to read it right out of my laptop. My laptop's right here. She asked me, she says, I have a dating and communicating question. In the beginning stages of getting to know someone, how long would you consider a good time frame to be before you dismiss someone if their communication, tone, style, conversation, maturity level doesn't reciprocate your tone, style, conversation, maturity level? All right. Then she gave me an example. You're leading the conversation, asking questions, responding with more than one word responses versus dry tone, replication of same questions every day, parentheses, what you doing, how was your day, parentheses. All right. The first thing I wanted to address in here, for the young ladies that are watching me right now, I'm talking about dating and communicating, and I'm about to answer this young lady's question. When it comes to people these days, and just in my opinion, when we're talking about men and dating styles and the lack of communication, refusing to communicate, or doing the lazy man's approach communication by only texting, I consider the lazy man's approach when communicating and dating is when he's literally sending you that what you doing, that WD, how was your day. That's not how you date someone. So if you're watching this and you're dating someone early on and it's been 2 weeks and you haven't even been on the phone with them, I don't even want you to make it to the 2 weeks once he's out of the picture. And what I mean by that is when you're dating someone, when you go in, one of the first things you need to find out literally within the first 24 hours when you're talking to each other or texting each other is, does he prefer texting or talking? You literally need to get that question out of the way, and it needs to be a direct answer. I know some guys, if you ask them if they prefer to talk or text, they'll say, well, whatever. And you know what? That still leaves you up in the air. You still don't know what he prefers. No, you need to know straight up, what do you prefer? Because if you prefer to talk and he prefers to text, but he's really not saying it, he's just like, well, whatever, then you're already on two different pages. And you never want to start off a dating situation early on not knowing what party likes and the other party can't stand. So if you're watching this and you're in this situation, as soon as you meet this dude, remember within the first 24 hours, because we're talking about communication styles, you need to find out what kind of communicator he is, specifically how he likes to communicate. Now, another thing that I'm seeing with women, specifically this young woman, and it's a common thing, is that you find yourself carrying the conversation. If you're watching this and you're just like, I met this dude, he'll initiate conversation, but when he initiate conversation, he really ain't talking about nothing. Me personally, I've been coaching I was a coach before I was a coach, and I didn't realize that I was going to be a life coach. What that means, dating experiences. I don't know why people try to laugh. I've had so many dating experiences, and I've learned and educated myself to the utmost, and I'm always evolving when it comes to dating. It's that I can already feel it on a man's energy, what kind of communicator he's going to be, what kind of dude he's going to be, if he's going to be on the left or if he's going to be on the right. I can generally tell it right then and there. It's just, I don't know, guys. I guess that's what the gift is of being a dating coach. That's literally a God-given gift. And so if you don't have that just yet, because you can get it, you can learn and you can educate yourself from your experiences and the experiences of others. However, I want you to learn more from the experiences of others, because that's what wise people do. Typically, foolish people learn from their own experiences. Wise people learn from the experiences of others. So when it comes to dating and you find yourself initiating conversations and or carrying the conversation, that is a red flag. And I don't want you to do that. If he reaches out to you like, hey, how was your day? And you say, oh, it was good. I had a coffee. I walked the dog. How about you? What are you up to? And he just say, chilling. It's not on you to come back with another question. He's a grown person. He should know how to reciprocate your energy. This is just basic communication skills right here. And a lot of women are falling for the lazy man's approach. And a lot of women are giving men too much rope, meaning you're giving him too many opportunities to just waste your time at the end of the day, to just literally waste your time. If you need to put it like this, and I'm trying to literally not talk real and raw. I'm trying to like put some, you know how you bowling and they had the little, what you call the little things on the side, the bumpers. I'm trying to put the bumpers on the side of this conversation because I really want to give it to you real and raw, but we're not there yet. So I'm trying to baby step you into this. And what I mean by that is stop going out of your way by letting a dude into your life that's literally showing you he's here to waste your time. You have to always listen to your gut. Your gut will tell you everything you need to know. And you can't talk yourself out of what your gut is telling you. Quit justifying dudes' actions. It should be clear. If a guy likes you and he's into you and he wants to communicate with you, it will be clear. There will be no questions. Now, I understand things come up. Things happen in family. Things happen at work. However, the conversation still should be flowing no matter what. It shouldn't be held up. It shouldn't be stopped up. Because why? Because everybody has a phone and everybody's always with their phone, period. Even children like 7-year-olds are with their phones at all times. So you mean to tell me this 30 plus, 40 plus, 20 plus year old man is all of a sudden phone died? Oh, I thought I responded. I didn't realize I didn't. Oh, I fell asleep, or the conversation just hits a wall. It's not on you to carry this grown man. Because if you start off carrying him, then he's going to expect to jump on your back at every turn throughout the duration of the whole dating situation, the relationship, the marriage, and whatever you want to call it. So do yourself a favor. And if you're just joining me, this young lady gave me a question. It's a dating and communicating question. And she's just wondering if it's normal. And if and when she should cut a guy off when she's doing the leading of the conversation. Me personally, I'm going to tell y'all about me. If it were me and I met a guy and I felt like I was leading the conversation, I would literally quit communicating. Like, it ain't nothing to cut that off. And that's the kind of mindset you need to have. If you feel like the conversation is hitting the wall and he's not trying to bring it back from the dead, first of all, when you're first meeting someone and dating someone, you should have plenty to talk about because you don't know each other. So instead of asking silly questions, like I always tell you guys, don't ask these silly questions because we need to know what kind of communicator he is. How does he like to communicate? How often he likes to communicate? How often he would like to date whoever he's communicating with. Like, these are the kind of questions you should ask. And then when she says another thing is the dudes who respond with just one word responses. All of these are red flags. The one word responses, let's talk about the tone. So when you're in person or if you're on the phone with someone, have y'all ever talked to a guy and both of you are free and you've been dating for a little while? So you've been on dates, you know each other. So you're cool with going over his house. And he's like, well, you can come over here if you want to. And it's just like, well, are you asking me to come over? Like, what are we doing? Like, do you care? And a lot of women have those kind of questions that I just had because the dude is just like, well, it is what it is, whatever. If he's not definite, you need guys that are definite. You need for him to know that he definitely wants to speak to you. He definitely wants to communicate with you every day. He definitely wants to date you, and he's not on the fence. Because when you get these hot and cold guys, I believe that how it starts is how it shall be. And if he's starting out on the fence, hot and cold, vague in his communication, not being direct, these are all billboards flooded with red flags. And if you know that communication matters to you, if you know you want to know automatic how this dude feels about you, what he's going through, what's happening at work, on his job, at school, or whatever, then it is on you to come out of the gate letting him know what kind of communicator you are and what you like and what kind of communicator that you like. And if who he is as a communicator doesn't align with who you are, you should know that early on. And that doesn't mean you're going to give him an opportunity to change his whole community style, his whole communication style. No, that means you've decided, all right, either I'm going to deal with someone whose communication style doesn't align with me, and I'm going to hope and pray and wish, and just because I'm single and I'm tired of being single and I'm tired of being lonely, maybe I'll just continue to date him in hopes that he'll show me a better way of communication. Or you'll understand that you need to be aligned with someone that has a similar way of communicating with you. And if a dude is coming out the gate with the WIDs, if he's coming out of the gate with getting your number on a Monday and you don't hear from him until Friday, he's already showing you what his patterns are out of the gate. And all I need for you to do is to recognize these patterns, address them. If it depends, because with me, if it's early on and you're dating someone, like let's say you know him a week and he's doing this WDs, how was your day, and the conversation ain't going nowhere. It's literally like, what you doing, how you doing, what did you eat for lunch, all right, good night, good morning, beautiful. Y'all, that's some BS. That's some BS, and it's not funny, but so many women are getting this kind of conversation, and it doesn't make sense. Now let's talk about the tone, because she mentions in here, when do you dismiss someone? And we're talking about tone and style and maturity level. And to me, I always come up with the B. Wiley basics. It's all about your body language, your tone, your delivery. And if this dude is like, got some aggression in his subtext and in his tone, like, look, I'm not your enemy, brother. I'm not your opponent. Like, there's no reason for him to talk to me, you, she, her, they, with this kind of aggression, or like he's on the defense. A lot of guys are, not all, a lot of guys are defensive. Sorry guys, this head is itching my ear. A lot of guys are defensive communicators. Like, you'll ask them a question, they'll get on the defense. It could be like some kind of question like, so what happened in your last relationship? And he might be like, well, why you want to know all that? It's over with. You know, we don't need to talk about that. Like, that's a red flag. Or his other style might be he literally refuses to answer direct questions. A lot of guys will do this. They will refuse to answer direct question, and it's on your job to circle back. I'll give y'all an example. I dated this guy earlier this year, and he had, like, he's older. I'm in my 40s, and he's older than me. And he had 2 younger kids, which I got 1 child, guys, and he'll be 18 next year. So with me, I'm just like, I would prefer 1 to none. But I really want 1 I want him to have 1, because I ain't having nobody else's kids. And that's it. And ain't no change in my mind. So with this particular guy, his 2 oldest were older, but the 2 of them, the youngest ones, they were young. I'm talking about can't leave them for a second young. Got to be watching at all time young. And so I was just like, well, that's interesting. Because if you have these 2 little ones, then where's your baby mama? Because if you got this fresh baby, where ain't the baby mama lurking around somewhere? And long story short, I asked him about the baby mama up front within the first few days of me getting to know him. And he said that the reason why they broke up is because he brung up, hey, you want to break up? And then next thing you know, she called his bluff and she broke up with him. And he was just like, oh, so he was standing out there looking stupid. So they moved out. He got his own place. She stayed in her place. And then I was just like, well, still, I'm not satisfied with that answer. Why, guys? Because I asked him why they broke up. And he said, this is why I'm not satisfied. Because I still felt like he was on the fence. And if she made some changes, he made some changes while they were broken up, how they know they wouldn't come back together. And so that's why I followed back. I circled the block. So now I'm just like, I said what I just said to you. Well, what if she worked on the things she worked on, you worked on the things you worked on, you guys came together and decided you wanted to be together? Would you be with her? Then he says, well, I'm not no future. I can't tell the future. That is the biggest red flag. That is a big red flag. Him telling me he can't tell the future. Well, I know you can't tell the future, Negro. I can't tell the future. Can't nobody tell the future but Jesus. But you know what that is? That's some BS. That's him being vague. That's him deflecting. That is him indirectly answering the question. So guess what I did, y'all? Oh, yes. I circled back the 3rd time. And I know y'all watching this like, really? Oh, yes. Because here's the thing. I'm not about to play with you and put this information out here for you, and I'm not doing it. I apply my stuff before I even give it to you. That's how I know it works. That's how I know you get results. I plays no games. I'm not here to play games. I'm not a game player. So you're not about to come up in here playing with me when you approach me. Because he approached me, I approach him. So I circled back for the third time. And on the third time, guess what, y'all? He was just like, I said, I got a question. He said, is this about my baby mama? I said, you're absolutely, Johnny. It is about your baby mama. And he was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And I said, again, yes or no. Would you get back with your baby mama if it were up to you? Guess what he said? Yes. Yes, B. Wiley. I would get back with my baby mama. And low-key, B. Wiley, I'm wasting your time or trying to attempt to waste your time in the meantime. And guess what B. Wiley did? Blocked his butt. And he came back and he found me on another site that he wasn't blocked on. And he was mad as hell. And I let him go off on me. I just let him go off. Because his main question was, why did I block him? And he wouldn't let me answer. So I just let him go off on me. And then that was the end of it. And he got re-blocked again. And he's been blocked ever since. And let me tell y'all something. I didn't invest good energy in that. I didn't waste good time on that. When I had time to date him, because we did date. He did like to go out and date. Only because I told him I wouldn't come into his house, because boundaries. That's another thing. When you're dating, and this is a side note from dating, you got to set your boundaries. Don't be going over dudes' houses and you don't even know these dudes. Like out the gate, he was so used, and you can meet a dude like this too, but I'm just using him for an example. He was so used to just meeting girls and inviting them over to the house that that's what he led with. And the thing is, guys will not change their dating patterns, and they will not change the way they communicate with you unless we require them to do something different. So if you're sick of the what you doings, if you're sick of the come over and Netflix and chill, us as a collective have to shut these kiddos down, because that's what children do. Children want to go to the house and play these dumb games and get dumb prizes and move on to the next. You're not a child. You're a woman with respect in your worth, and you understand your worth, and you love yourself, and you know that you're worth more than going over to some stranger's house, because that's what he is, and sitting on his couch and getting banged out in a few minutes after you watch the movie for just a little bit. So let me circle back. If you're just tuning in, I'm about to wrap this up. I got a question. If you ever want to ask me a dating and community, and thank you guys for watching. There's a lot of y'all on here. Got over 500 likes. I appreciate that. So if you like this video, feel free to like this video. You can share it. And then I'm going to upload this on YouTube at some point tonight. I have so many Christmas things to put up. I'm going from transitioning out of Thanksgiving to Christmas. I have a giant Christmas tree. I have to rearrange the whole living room because it's out of control. But if you like this video, go ahead and like it. So let me just do a recap, okay? I got this communication and dating question from a young lady. In the beginning stages of getting to know someone, how long would you consider a good time frame to be before you dismiss someone? I'm going to stop it right there. The good time frame is when your gut is telling you. A good time frame is when you ain't getting no kind of real and true conversation from this guy. A good time frame is when he hasn't asked you out on a date and it's been over a week. A good time frame is when he wait 3 days to call you. Why he got your number on Monday, but he wait until Thursday to reach out. A good time frame is literally 72 hours. I'm going to just give it to you. Get that dude 72 hours. And typically with some guy, like I said, they won't call for 72 hours. And that's where he already on his last leg. So he's entering on his last leg. So then when he follows up with the WYD, he done. And you have to think about it like that. And some women will be like, well, that's too much. Well, that's drastic. Give him a chance. Maybe he was busy. Maybe his kitten died. Maybe his parrot flew away. Maybe he had to be calling to work. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he was swimming in the ocean and got his leg bit off by a shark. Like, you come up with all these justifications that make no sense. When he's just sitting there right on his phone, you can see that he's on social media. He just ain't willing to invest that kind of to you like you would like him to. Hold on, somebody's trying to get on. But anyway, so that's the time frame, up to 72 hours. Listen to your gut. And then let's finish it to be before you dismiss it. Okay, then we're talking about if their communication, tone, style, conversation, maturity level doesn't reciprocate yours, then what do you do? How do you cut them off? You'll know if it's not a match pretty soon if you're asking the questions I'm recommending. That's how you'll get down to the nitty gritty. You say you want to stop wasting your time. You say you want these dudes to stop wasting your time. However, you got to recognize when someone is coming in to waste, and you have to take action. And action looks like block. Action don't look like explaining nothing. Because if he was going to be done with you, he ain't going to give you an explanation. He's just going to be done and he's just going to go shoot. So when you're done, when you recognize game, when you recognize he's here to waste your time, when you recognize what you're giving is not being reciprocated, when you recognize you don't have the similar or same communication styles, when you recognize he has a lazy man's approach to communicating with you, then that's when you decide, all right, we're done. Block, done. If you were on his social media, unfollow, unlike, unsubscribe. Like, do yourselves a favor, because the more you stay hung up on these guys whose communication style, whose body language, whose tone, whose maturity level, whose emotional intelligence is kaput, is the longer you will hold yourself back from recognizing who you need to be. And young lady put set the tone. You absolutely right. You absolutely got to set the tone. You got to walk into the room and your energy got to lead. And he got to know you ain't the 1, 2, or the 3. And then if he do try you, because some guys will try you, hey, it's okay. Let him try you. And that's when you show him who you are by setting that boundary and not talking to him anymore. Because if you think you're going to what you doing me into an early grave, you got another thing coming. Side note, one of my things that I've been running into as a life coach are guys who think they're going to talk my block off. So I don't like to tell guys, and I refuse to tell guys moving forward that I'm a life coach and author, because what they'll do is they'll think I'm their therapist. And I'm not here to give you therapy, fool. I'm here to get to know you and date you. And so I've talked to a few guys now previously who just want to talk, can't get them to stop talking. So I went from previously, before I was a life coach, I went from dudes not being emotionally available, just not interested, not open at all, to chatterboxes running their mouth, telling me their whole life story, won't stop talking. So it's been from one extreme to the other, but we're going to find balance, baby. It's all about balance, and you are too. Let me make sure I touched all the bases here. So when you get those one-word responses, when you get a dry tone, and when you're doing all the question asking, think of this video. Think of B. Wiley and say, what would B. Wiley do? Would she continue to carry this man on her back? Or would she drop this dude off because her back ain't big enough to carry this dude on her back? You really got to think about it that way. And don't get mad, sis. Be glad that you have the energy, the power, the strength, the determination to move these suckers, these jive turkeys out of the way so that you can get to yo baby. Hey, baby. All right, guys, that's it. How long has I been on here? 21 minutes, 22 minutes. Okay, so if you're still here and you want, this hat is itchy, but I have my hair is in two flat twists under here, and I just threw this hat on and this scarf at the last minute trying to look like somebody. Merry Christmas. So I'll be doing a video every day for the month of December, and it'll be as little as 60 seconds up to 30 minutes. And if you don't see it here on TikTok, go on my YouTube. The link is in the bio. Coach B. Wiley on all the things. If you want to ask me a dating and communicating questions, feel free. DM me, put it in the comments. Holla at your girl. My email address should be up there too. All my links are there. So you can find me and you can ask me a question. I'll address it just like I did this one. And I'm trying to think, is that it? If you want to book me as your life coach, I am here, dear. Don't go out at the end of this year being crazy, being lonely, being desperate, being thirsty over a dude who don't want you, who don't know how to communicate. I can give you all that you need. Feel free. Book me. That link is in my bio. My mentor.life, Coach B. Wiley. And I believe that is it. And I'll talk to you ladies and gents later. Bye. It won't turn off.